make fun of the media for fucking everything up again, how they always do. Oh, more fucking witchcraft.
No fucking surprise there.
Witchcraft unit.
Alright, anyway, hi everybody.
I love how you always fucking start these before I'm ready. I'm sitting here mumbling to myself.
Welcome to the wrap-up show, episode 49. If you listened to the episode, you would have seen or heard our best interview so far with Zoltan Istvan, a journalist who's done a lot of different things. If you just listen to the fucking show, all right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into it. The show, it was predominantly transhumanism, and we talked a lot about, just the betterment of mankind and how religion holds its back and so on and so forth. But I just had a couple of things that I wanted to go over, and it seems to always happen in the wrap-up shows. I don't know why, but I talk about women's rights a lot in the wrap-up shows. But I've come across a couple of things. Recently in Pakistan, there's a huge campaign that's going around that's trying to promote women's rights, and I think the actual name of the campaign is Our Girls Are a Blessing, or Our Girl is a Blessing, and it's kind of saying to any kind of father out there that has a girl that they're a blessing, not a hindrance. And as far as culturally, the reason why they've been considered a hindrance is because there's such a stigma about women working that they don't get as good at jobs and they don't make as much of money, and they're not really breadwinners. And as far as women are concerned, it's more or less you just raise them to send them off to their real family, which is whoever they marry. So they're more or less treated like another mouth to feed. And it's pretty amazing when you look at the statistics. In just alone, the main city in Pakistan, Karachi, they have over 300 female babies found within the city limits, just put into dumpsters, tossed aside, in trash cans, all kinds of other stuff, because they just view them as such a hindrance to their family that they just, once they're born, they just get rid of them. And it's utterly disgusting to me to think about how disgraceful we treat individuals simply because of something like that. Like, I can't imagine what they would do if they somehow could figure out whether or not their son or daughter was gay from birth, what they would do to them. But we're not past it yet. As a human race, we are not past sexism, racism, extreme homophobia, and just the general fear of people that are not like you. I don't quite understand how we haven't gotten past this. Most of it is religious based, because after all, I mean, you look at a place like Pakistan, it's predominantly Muslim, and women are definitely second-class citizens in any Muslim culture. I don't care who the fuck you think you are. If you're in a Muslim culture and you're a woman, you're a second-class citizen. If you're Southern Baptist and you're a woman, you're a second-class citizen. Hate to break it to you, but that's the fucking reality. And it branches across all mediums. And there was another one that I found where they were talking about Saudi Arabia. They have, they don't term them anti-witchcraft units, but that's essentially what they are. They're these special forces units that go into cities and towns that have reports of women that are doing quote-unquote witchcraft, and they try them and convict them. For example, there were these two Asian women that were sentenced because their boss claimed that he suffered from their magic. So they were sentenced to 1,000 lashings and 10 years in prison, because their boss simply claimed that he suffered from their witchcraft. I mean, that's absurd. I mean, that I mean, it's not to the same extreme because they didn't die, but I mean, it's the same conviction as in the Salem witch trials, where these little children would just say, "Yeah, she's a witch," and they would go, "Oh, fucking kill her." It's the same damn thing. It's just 1,000 lashings and 10 years in prison. You're still destroying a life. It's just a different way of destroying a life, and you're taking away a lot of their humanity and dignity as people. Simply because somebody accused them of something. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I don't know if you have anything to add to that or not, or if you have anything at all for this after show, but that's what I got.
No, I mean, the culture over there is ridiculous, and the fact that you've heard about the story this past week, I guess. I can't remember exactly which one of the Middle Eastern countries it is, but they do the brides, the young girls and stuff. They'll give them as brides, and I think. They do the mass ones and stuff, and one of the guys, he married an 8-year-old girl, and of course he had relations with her, and kind of tore up, and then she ended up bleeding to death. So there's a big protest from rights activists and stuff now to try and end that. But it's like, it's been going on forever. It's like, that's how little they value it. It's like, you're talking about putting babies in dumpsters.
Yeah.
Although with that, I kind of look at that, with them, they're just not as advanced. Otherwise, it's not much different than like China, where as soon as couples, a lot of times, because they have the one-child policy, as soon as they know they're having a female, or they're going to have a female child, they'll have an abortion or something because they want to always have a son or a male baby. So, I mean, it's just, they're just not as advanced where they have that, or because of religious reasons, they're not going to have. Although I guess putting them in a fucking dumpster to die is not much better. Probably in their fucked up heads it makes sense, but I hate to say it, but I don't have a whole lot for this, man. Boggs is in here to play songs for you guys.
Yeah, Boggs kind of dipped.
I am not drunk.
He's got to wake up early and take care of some stuff, but
that's what he says. But this is what he's taking care of. I'm just letting you guys know right now. That's why he's not here.
I kind of want to mention it because I think it's kind of funny because we actually had a purpose for these wrap-up shows. They were meant to be extensions of the episode because we never get to cover every single thing that we want to. It's next to impossible. We could talk forever. So it was meant to be like an extension where we want to give additional stories or background or information about whatever we're talking about. And it's just turned into a mesh of just debauchery and ridiculousness and no information whatsoever. So if you do watch these...
Well, that's not true. We give information. It's just not information that people need to know.
So if you do watch these, I applaud you for actually putting up with it.
Because we're fucking entertaining. Actually, I do want to say one thing. I said this to you before we started. I do want to give kudos to the news, because after the mass shooting this week, they did their fantastic job as usual. Let's see, we had reports of 3 shooters. They had AR-15s. Anything and everything that could be inaccurate about the story was put out there again, much like after the Boston bombings, much like after Sandy Hook, much like after Aurora, much like, I mean, just go down the fucking list. Every fucking time this happens, it's like, let's just start making up shit because we want to be the first to report something.
Well, here's the
fucking time.
Here's what it comes down to, is that...
Go CNN.
It's not going to change unless the majority changes. Unless the majority sits down and says, you know what, we're not going to pay attention to them because they will just put out anything just to be the first people to report it. And we're actually going to go with legitimate sources that actually do the research. But we're so stuck in this like instant media, we have to know it now kind of shit, where things can be blown out of proportion. Things are definitely labeled conspiracies way too easy these days.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Every single shooting is a false flag policy now. Yeah. Every single shooting. I'm sorry, but just even statistics would tell you that that's a fucking load of shit. There's no way. And then on top of that, most of these reports that we hear and most of this stuff that we get is eyewitness accounts. Anybody who's been part of the court system knows that eyewitness accounts are almost meaningless. Your mind can create all kinds of stuff, especially if you're under stress. It fabricates a ton of stuff. It can make a blue car red. It could make a white guy black. I mean, there's all kinds of things that your mind can construct just based off of the stress level that you have, the prerequisites that you have about the incident. So if it's like a drug deal gone bad, you instantly think that it's going to be a minority or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's your mind and the way you perceive reality is very inconsistent. So the only real way that you can go with it is hard facts and evidence from a scientific basis. And you don't even have to look at crimes or anything like that. It just anything at all. And that goes with religion, economics, whatever. You have to follow the facts. And until you live your life based off of what is actually real, you're living in a fucking fantasy. I don't know what philosopher it was that came up with the whole perception is reality. They're a fucking liar. It is not. Perception is not reality. Perception is your reality, not reality itself. Just saying.
I just want to follow up. I guess we'll go ahead and cut this off because we know you guys need to get back to jerking off to porn instead of watching our shit on YouTube.
You are on the internet.
We know what you're doing. Believe me, if I wasn't doing this, that's what I'd be doing. Well, not right now because he's in the room.
A little awkward.
I want to give a shout because we were talking about news media fucks up everything, and Chuck Todd, who's like the top political correspondent at NBC this week, said that I want to paraphrase. Basically, what he said was, it's not the news media's job to call out people when they're lying and then present the facts. And I'm thinking to myself, because, well, it was based on some shit, like the Republicans keep throwing out shit about Obamacare. That's completely inaccurate.
Complete lies, yeah.
So people kind of went after him, like, why don't you guys ever report that this is nonsense and put the truth out? He said, well, it's not our job to sell Obamacare. That's the White House's job. It's like, no, motherfucker. If someone's lying and you know they're lying, you're interviewing them and they're lying, call them out on it. Make them state the facts, or you state the facts and make them rebut that. Don't just allow it to happen. And that's what we've got for the news media nowadays. So, hey, good luck with it, man. That's why we do what we do, because we fuck around and we make jokes and it's half-assed, but, you know, we try and put out real stuff. I mean, we do try. We do. But, I mean, we try and do it in a fun way. But, you know, we don't intentionally lie. We don't intentionally put out misinformation. I mean, we look up stuff. If I put out fucking numbers and facts, I'm getting them. Most of the time, granted, they're from the government agency, so they're probably a little bit fucked up anyway. But I mean, let's face it, that's what we got to go by. But we're trying to pull the best information we can, and we try and put it out there. And if we're wrong on something, dude, fucking write it. Call us out on it. Put it on our Facebook. Put it on Twitter. Tell us we're fucking
We've
fucked
had
up.
people call us out.
Show us we're wrong. Hey, we'll admit it.
Oh,
we don't
yeah.
know everything. I mean, we're about half a fact, half opinion on this show. There's no doubt about it. But we try. We're not the paid, you know, news agencies that are supposed to be giving you guys the hard information. That's going to say, hey, if we get out, you know, it's like, hey, 3 shooters, they all have AR-15s. Hey, that's what we hear. Fuck it. That's what you get from them. So it's like, you could continue going down that path. That's the way the news media is going. It's all about making money. You know, we're here just to fucking have fun, try and entertain, try and put out some facts and figures. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you don't, fuck you. But if you do, we love you, though.
Aww.
Be sure to catch episode 49. Zoltan Istvan, fascinating guy. Smart fucking dude. It's
Awesome episode.
Transhumanism, interesting topic, believe me. If you've never heard of it before, check it out.
All right, folks. Peace.